Hey guys, Tyler here with Calculated Connects. I want to put out a quick video. We get a ton of inquiries on why don't you make a paper thin plate so that I can co-witness on my carry comp. Now I'm going to show you why that's not going to work for you. So if you want to co-witness and you had a paper thin plate, now mind you, this is not a plate on here. There's gaps in there because all this is just a washer that's going to allow it to simulate a paper thin plate. So if I had that paper thin plate and I had this gun and I wanted to co-witness, you couldn't co-witness. And let me show you. Even if it was paper thin, you get no co-witness. If you made that plate as thin as possible to where the optic was sitting on top of the recoil lugs, you wouldn't even have barely usable. So if you're gonna have to replace the iron sights anyways, why would you not just get yourself a dog tag? The thing is if you are going to run a paper thin plate, you're still going to have to replace the iron sights. So you might as well get a dog tag. We aren't going to make, multiple SKUs so that it's thinner. And not to mention, if we make it too thin, then our dog tag is ineffective. And what we did specifically on this plate for this gun, because you don't need an optic plate being screws to secure the plate to the gun and then screws to secure the optic to the plate. You could 100% make an adapter. Like these screws are just going through the optic and ultimately securing on the slide. But we didn't do that because this platform, the MMP, is huge for the loaded chamber indicator and fouling out the front of the lens. So now that we made this plate this way, we actually are able to bring this optic back. So you see these lines? The EPS would line up with this Delta Point Pro or RMSC footprint. But we actually brought these back so that we could get it away from the loaded chamber here, move it back, and also making it a little bit thicker. We're now able to have a taller dog tag. That taller dog tag is what's going to deflect the carbon off of that. It's going to hit that, deflect it versus the front of the optic. So that's why we did it. I know a lot of people don't understand why we do what we do, but there is a lot of logic and reasoning with it. If you're going to have to replace the iron sights, why not get a plate that is effective, a plate that we actually thought through? Some iron sights that you can look at are going to be the Ameriglow SW429s. Going to be all blacked out. They have a night front model. Don't quote me on it. I think it's SW-809. If you head over to Night Vision, they have the Optics Ready Stealth, and you can do the 311-402, and I think you can configure it with or without tritium in the back, and you can do black front, orange, or green. I believe they have all those options. So that's why we do it that way. It's not that, we want to, be a pain in the butt for you guys, but you're going to have to replace your iron sights anyways. So that's why we're not going to make multiple SKUs just because, if that makes sense. And as in terms of plate thickness, yeah, this plate looks super thick from the side. It looks thick from the back, but you got to keep in mind, we have this built-in rear bumper for any RMSC or K footprint optic. And on top of it, it's machined on these sides. So realistically, it's not as deep as what it seems. It just looks that way. And the very reason why we made it this thick in the first place is so that it will co-witness perfectly with the Optics Ready iron sights that come on the MMPs directly OEM from Smith. Now, the carry comp doesn't come with that. However, when you add those iron sights I was talking about, the SW429s, 311-402s, they are almost, I believe, identical in height to what come on the Smith & Wesson Optics Ready, the Optics Ready models that have the Optics Ready iron sights. So that's why we're doing it. You guys are going to meet at the same place, whether you have the Optics Ready iron sights or whether you're going to have to buy aftermarket iron sights. And so that's why we do that. Hopefully that alleviates a lot of confusion because we get quite a bit of emails on that topic. But you are not going to be able to co-witness with a paper thin plate in OEM sites. It's just not going to happen. So comment below. Let me know if this is the scenario that you're running into. Please let me know if it makes sense. We really try and put out these videos to just inform you, because a lot of people don't know this, and this is our bread and butter. We have to figure this out. We have to have these answers. So the more information, the more knowledge that we can put out for you guys, then it makes a lot of, the why to you guys makes sense. Not just, hey, do it because I told you. Well, there's got to be a why to it. So that's why we do that. Hopefully that all makes sense. You guys are awesome. If you guys head to the website and you combine a plate with we have Ameriglow SW429s on the website. We don't have the night vision models. Both are great options. We like both companies, but we do have the 429s on our website. If you buy the 429s with a plate, you're automatically going to save off the plate. There's no code needed. All you got to do is throw them both in your cart and you're going to automatically save. As always, every plate that we sell comes with all the hardware, Torx bit, and Vibratite to install the plate as well as the optic to the gun. Comment below, you guys. Let me know what you think.